All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Rocket Lab Weekly. Glad to be here. Unfortunately, I'm running solo today, but that might mean things are a little bit streamlined. We can get through some of the news. Appreciate, as always, everybody continuing to write really good information and take really great pictures of what's going on at Warkworth, at Wallops Island, at the AIC, the Neutron AIC. It makes the job of doing this Rocket Lab Weekly episode very easy for me. Be able to see and rely on specific people. You know who you are. You'll be seen throughout the episode today. Uh, Absolute blast covering this company. We've been doing it for 123 weeks at this point, over 2 years, and we've seen the stock drastically increase. We're obviously in a pullback now, but I think this is an opportunity for people that potentially were concerned about buying at such high prices to maybe take that opportunity and finally get in, maybe at a slightly cheaper price. The market cap right now, let me see if I can get to it. Here we go, is about 35 billion dollars. Let's scroll down here. 36 billion dollars at the time of this recording on February 15th. We obviously had a little bit of an update, but over the past week or so, we're down about 8.5%. Past month, down about 20 or so percent. But of course, over the past 3 months, we're still up 54% overall. I've obviously been trying to keep a track of the potential opportunities to continue to buy this stock. I'm a big holder in it, as you guys know. Even just in this Robinhood account, which is just baby buys, you can see it's about $43,000 for me. This is a much smaller port of the portfolio. This is just where I keep my weekly or bi-weekly buys. Every time I get a paycheck, I throw a little bit of money at it, so you guys can see. Even just in here, um, I have it's probably one of my larger positions in my overall Robinhood account, but this just allows me to kind of keep track because Robinhood is the easiest place for me to kind of keep track of all these particular things. So appreciate there's a lot to cover since the February 7th episode that we did last week with many others. If anybody wants to join, feel free. Much appreciated if anybody wants to join. Just message me on X. I'll be happy to send you a link. It just happens that nobody had the opportunity to make it today. We were really hoping to do it yesterday as well, and Vince was dealing with family sickness, and then the other guys, as you know, are definitely they tried to make it, but we just couldn't make a time work, and so instead of leaving you guys high and dry, I just wanted to get the episode up and at least cover some of the great work that some of our friends on the ground are doing. I wholly agree that the stock can continue to pull back. Um, but I think with upcoming catalysts that we'll see in February, the end of February, I believe it was. Let me just pull that up. Rocket Lab for this keyboard's been giving me problems. I don't want to misquote. February 27th. So we have about 2 weeks. It's going to be on a Friday, which I believe. Oh, nope, wrong. That is wrong. I should have had this prepped. So this is my fault. News and events. It will be on Thursday, February 26th. Okay, that seemed a little bit more reasonable. So I will post this in the chat for everyone to look at. Oh, that's the wrong one. Wrong. Like I said, this keyboard is giving me problems. There we go. So that is the exact dates of the fourth quarter. So feel free to sign up for the news and earnings call itself. It looks like Morgan is back at the helm for those that are that are looking at the investor relations media contact. It looks like it's back to Miss Morgan. So congrats on her being back and having a successful maternity. Uh, the upcoming launch is exciting. So haste, and the thing that's nice about the haste launches that is kind of iffy at the same time is that they generally keep them pretty quiet. So I'm pretty ecstatic that they were so formal, and this patch is sick. I want this. This is for hypersonics. It's for the Dart AE. Um, that it's not a knife. We'll get into some graphics in just a second. Late February, but we have some other timings that we've seen from our friends that have been able to pull from some sources for the Defense Innovation Unit. Uh, Here's some of the pictures. Okay, I know they had an X post that I was going to show as well, but look at this bad boy. I mean, this thing is pretty sweet. So that's not a knife is Rocket Lab's latest hypersonic test mission for the Defense Innovation Unit on its HASTE launch vehicle, scheduled no earlier than late February from LC2 within Virginia Spaceport Authority's Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport on Wallops Island. It's a Dart AE, which is a scramjet powered aircraft developed by Australian aerospace engineering firm Hypersonics. So particularly, this haste launch reflects a investment in restoring the nation's hypersonic test capabilities through its commercial speed, innovation, and execution. A critical priority for the Department of War, lowering cost barriers and increasing the test launch tempo for the United States and its allies, including the UK and obviously Australia, based off of this conversation. And haste gives a testers unprecedented control over flight profiles and environments up to Mach 20, commercial capability that remains unmatched globally. I was hoping that was somebody that wanted to join. So we have that. Here's some more in-depth pictures of it, of course. Obviously, we have all of our friends commenting how cool this particular payload looks. But this was posted just several days ago, talking about the next launch at LC2 with the Defense Innovation Unit and Hypersonics. Then once again, from Eastern Shore Space Flight, they had a window shifted, which they are keeping track of when this current launch window looks like it's going to occur from Wallops Island from Virginia. So yes, this is a nice opportunity for our friends to keep up to date with what's going on and what potential um, updates we have. So this might just be a sounding rocket from what this is saying, but I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Could be a possible date. But if it's not February 23rd or 24th, then possibly a little later in the month. Another good one, which I have yet to fully read, but I want to get out there, and I just posted on my X. I just saw this looking through some information. Sorry if I think I might have seen some people quoting this earlier in the week, but apologies with everything that's going on. I might not have seen particularly the fact that this was posted, so apologies if I'm late on this. But basically, Sir Peter Beck wrote a article for the Harvest Business Review and talks through a lot of what's going on. In summary, Rocket Lab launches more rockets at any faster pace than any rivals and is expanding into satellites, deep space, and missions. Four principles underpin its success. Fierce efficiencies drives frugal operations, such as building solutions in-house. A show don't tell approach creates trust by delivering working hardware and successful missions, not just promises. Let's make sure I'm sharing. Yep, good. Smart speed means Rocket Lab can streamline decision making, and vertical integration gives the company control over every stage, ensuring delivery, complete high quality, cost effective missions. And these tenets allow Rocket Lab to compete with the industry giants, significantly impacting how humanity can benefit from space. So I think this is a good starting point, right? We just hit 75 launches, and actually recently just did over 80. So yeah, awesome to kind of celebrate that 21 rocket launch record cadence in 2025. Talk about all the other different things, childhood dreams, etc. Um, this is all stuff I believe that a lot of us have seen and heard before, but it'd be nice to be able to support SPB as he shows up in HBR, the Harvard Business Review. Looks to be free, so I don't subscribe. I don't believe, but yeah, we will see potentially um, how this is recepted if it hasn't been yet. Let's just see. Any before I move on, who is in the chat? Let's just see. We got 95 of you guys on YouTube. Much appreciated. Some people saying if it falls below 50, you'll buy some more. I think sometimes you just have to take the opportunity when you get the opportunity. Who can guarantee? We got Arthur. We got Jesus. We got Lane Jameson. We got Henrik. We got Ray. We got DGS. We got lots of great people in here, man. We really haven't seen Rocket Lab stock during a long bear market. It's very, it's a good piece of point there. We got Jared in the house. We got Freddie Thompson. We got DGSS12. Cash Moolah. What's going on, everybody? Much appreciated for you guys being here. I just want to preface this. Appreciate everybody that has been listening on Spotify podcasts, that's been listening on Apple Podcasts. I'm really trying to get that avenue up and running. And if you guys are really interested, I thought I had it in the description, but I will put the Spotify podcast link. I pretty much am loading it out every single one of my podcasts that I do, whether it's Rocket Lab Weekly or just normal streams with Steve or anybody else, uploading those to Spotify so that people can listen on the go. Because I know it's not as always easy to listen to YouTube unless you have YouTube Premium, and so having that on the go, that's that. Appreciate also everybody bearing with me as I'm trying something new. I am trying to I sit in front of a computer very many hours of the day with respect to doing YouTube, with respect to doing my day job. I'm trying something new with some blue resistant glasses. Yes, I know you guys can see the reflection off the glasses. I'm trying not to show any proprietary information so you guys can see anything. But overall, just trying something new to maybe preserve my eyes a little bit as I'm getting a little older. Didn't have any issues or anything with my eyes, but apparently it's all the rave these days. So I figured I would give it a try. All right, let's get back into the news. Let's answer some of these speculative rumors that people. I don't think we got into this article last week because we did last week's episode on February 7th, but we did see this and we talked about this in the background when this article kind of came out from Eric Berger. Yes, Rocket Lab is blowing up engines. No, it's not a big deal, says Sir Peter Beck after being interviewed by Eric Berger. And I think this aligns a lot with what I talked about last week, which is, yeah, they're going to be pushing things, but if it was really detrimental to the success of Archimedes and the progress that they're making in terms of the mission of getting Neutron on the pad, they would likely have followed this with the SEC, comparable to what they did when the stage one tank didn't necessarily meet full expectations. So to me, I think this was something that, even if it was a surprise, not anything that was detrimental. And I think they stated in this article that within 48 hours they were doing things again. But as we read last week, according to the fire station, November 30th dispatcher log, the employee said the fire started during an anomaly, which caused an electrical box fire. Basically, satellite imagery showed that the roof had potentially blown off the left test cell, one of two tests in the historic facility. So according to two sources, this is one of two Archimedes engines that have been failed in the past 3 months. And the engine test anomalies come at a critical time for Rocket Lab attempting to finalize development of the Archimedes engine, etc. But um, basically, after having conversation with CEO, he downplayed it. So, in response to the query from ARS about the engine test anomalies, um, SPB downplayed it. Eric, you're trying to make a story out of nothing, Beck said. We test the limits that's developing a successful rocket. We often put the engines in very off nominal states to find limits, and sometimes they let go. This is normal, and how you ensure rockets don't fail during flight. Um, Sounds very comparable to what we talked about last week, and I appreciate Sir Peter Beck giving some clarity on that. Rocket companies do not just test engines to put a failure. These tests often occur out of public view on the private or government property. However, NASA spaceflight installed cameras outside of SpaceX McGregor's engine test facilities in Tejas. It becomes clear that the rocket engines, such as company's new Raptor engine, are pushed to failure, not infrequently. What is not clear how often this failure is intentional. Beck said Rocket Lab is presently pushing the Archimedes into find its failure modes and its performance in edge cases. Right now, we're in the part of the program where we're doing very nasty things to the engine, like backing right off on suction pressure, inducing cavitation, and exploring outside of the run box, he said. These things can often lead to engines letting go. We have 2 test cells, so we can do these types of tests and not interrupt our test cadence or production flow. Hence, there is zero impact to schedule. In fact, 48 hours later, they're running engines again. Beck has previously stated that Rocket Lab's goal is to identify failures during component level testing, so when Neutron launches, there's a higher chance of reaching orbit on its first go. So that answers any particular questions that we potentially entered last week with. I know a lot of people were speculating that this could potentially push back even further. Hopefully you can sleep better at night to then yeah. What is this? So you can try to put a polarizer filter on your cam lens. It might remove the reflection. We'll see, my man. Yeah, I'm just trying to feel out if I like it or not. I wasn't expecting the lenses to be this orange. I feel like I'm playing poker in the 80s. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it has actually helped a little bit. Like I was working till like 2 a.m. I was playing games and working. It's like 2 a.m. last night. And didn't feel tired. Like I felt like I could keep going. And in fact, I'm not really running on much sleep at all. Based off of doing a lot of reading and stuff like that. Even though I was at my computer till 2 a.m., I didn't go to sleep until much later. Moving on. So I tried to do this in chronological order. And once again, if anybody wants to join, feel free to message me on X. I'll be more than happy to send you the link. Because as always, I appreciate everybody and their inputs. I'm just double checking that nobody has reached out to me as of yet. We're good to go. And apologies that it's on off hours. Normally we try to do this at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern time, but I have other obligations. And if I'm the only one doing it, I figured I might as well just knock it out. And if people want to listen to the playback, they can. So I appreciate the 125 of you guys being here. So this particular piece here, let's just see. A big milestone for systems team. Rocket Lab and Semper Sidious SDA have officially kicked off work for the Tracking Layer 3. Fantastic teams together, align on mission, and get ready to build the next generation of missile warning, tracking, and defense space vehicles. This program really matters, and we're proud to be a part of it. So to learn more about the proliferated war spice architecture, this is basically the official awarding. So for a reminder for people, Rocket Lab won this $816 million contract, put 18 satellites for Tranche 3 into orbit. So they deliver satellites equipped with advanced missile warning, tracking, defense sensors to provide global persistent detection and tracking of emerging missile threats, including hypersonic systems. $806 million base contract with up to $10 million of options. Each satellite will feature Rocket Lab's next generation Phoenix infrared sensor payload, a wild field of view solution designed to meet evolving missile defense and national security space. To ensure mission resilience, the satellites will be equipped with Rocket Lab's advanced Starlight space protection sensors designed to safeguard the constellation against directed energy threats. Trying to think if there's anything else associated with this. Oh, I'm not sharing this. That's my fault. But there you go. That's really all I was reading there. Let me think. Is there anything else on this that I want to talk about? Building on momentum. Okay, here you go. I think this is kind of important to highlight. This contract builds on Rocket Lab's existing $515 million award to deliver 18 satellites for SDA's Layer Beta Tranche 2 program, which provides secure, low latency communication. Um, the more than 1.3 billion in contract value now awarded to Rocket Lab by the SDA demonstrates strong confidence in Rocket Lab's ability to execute on larger scale, high stake national security programs. Rocket Lab's growing role as a prime contractor, important thing to note, for the U.S. Space Force highlights emergence as a formidable competitor to legacy aerospace primes. Let's see who signed off on this one. What's that? It says media. Okay. I'm curious who signed off. Let's get into some of what our friends have updated us. There's a lot of great pictures coming out of Wallops and the AIC this week. So appreciate Francis, appreciate Pat O. I appreciate Eastern Shore Space Flight for keeping us in the know, ITK, about what's going on at Wallops Island and the Assembly Integration Center, Neutron. This is particularly from February 11th. It looked like it was a rather calm day, but they did have some workers going on. Um, at, here. Let's see what else we got here. There's some screenshots here. So workers are active on the pad. Captured video of a boom lift. Crew checking stadium lights, likely after wind gusts of 45 miles an hour. Construction has begun on the shipping container shelter at the AIC. So this was February 11th. Then we move on to February 12th from Pat. Pat was nice enough to show what's going on at Middle River, where they, on February 12th, they're doing some cleanup of the tank debris from stage one. For those of you guys who remember, they had put together the fuels tank for stage one, which was part of the lower third of the rocket. And when they did testing, it does look pretty damaged. It came apart below what was expected from what I'm kind of inferring now, but I'm sure we'll hear more on the 26th of February. Yeah, so you can see here the structure kind of out of alignment, and then what looks to be the top of a tank. Not in good space. Let's see what people had to say. Francisco looks pretty rough. Awesome capture. Agreed. We got an advertisement. It is awesome to look at from the engineering point of view. So the following day, ESF was able to go back to Neutron AIC. Let me just make sure nobody else. Okay, because I saw Scott message, but I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it or not. So sorry if I went an hour ahead on you, Scotty. Didn't mean to keep you out. Spotted 4 new mobile light towers being stored to the left of the main AIC building. They were not there previously. No permanent yard lights at the AIC, so this could mean night work is coming. For additional lighting support for pad operations, forklifts are moving around the yard, some steady activity buzzing through. Work on the container shelter structure appears paused for now. Parking lot remains packed, which usually means plenty happening inside. I love the beauty of this building. It's huge. Like, I don't know if this gives you guys an idea, but this is like a normal door, and then here's like the exit. It's pretty huge. Here's another door. It's a normal office door. Yeah, here's cars for comparison. It's a really beautiful facility. I did not get to go into the facility when I was here, but they had a little security tent out here to the left where we checked in. They had some merch, and I wish I was smarter like Francisco and Miss Iglesias and getting a few more to send out to the community because there was some, and I just grabbed my one bag, and then I saw other people grabbing extras, and I only was able to get one more extra. I wish I grabbed more. And speaking of, so the following day or later this day, neutron testing continues at the structure complex in Middle River. So a little bit of ways from where we're at in AIC, but this is the new piece of equipment. It looks like the middle third of the Neutron rocket, where a lot of the payload will be stored. So we're not talking about the Hungry Hippo, but we're talking about the middle piece. And I believe somebody put a really good graphic in either this, which we'll see more pictures here. Um, Look at the quality of this. And this gets me back to that other stage that failed. Like this one looks so much less complex. It looks a lot more straightforward. It looks really well and clean. Versus the previous one looked a little bit more rough, a little bit more patched together. So I'm kind of curious if this will eventually be kind of comparable. But you can see, man, this thing is huge. We're talking massive, at least 3 people tall, because this is an individual here to the left, to the right. Massive when you think about how big these structures are. But I think somebody put yeah, so here you go. We're used to seeing the Hungry Hippo piece here, and now we have this middle piece. The piece that failed was the bottom piece that holds the tank, and then underneath that is the thrust structure. Here's another piece. So coming, different part of the tank, but cool nonetheless. So the piece that we were just showing here, let me go back to this. The piece that we were just showing here sits right below the Hungry Hippo fairing, which was the short that I just showed on YouTube. And so we are really starting to move along when it comes to Neutron showing up. So very curious to see progress on when that lower stage one tank piece will be remade and be able to retest so that you could have a fully integrated stage one. How cool would that be? Hopefully in the next month or two. Another update from Pad O on February 13th, 2026, pulled out hardware from the Space Structures Complex. So while we just showed, this is it on the trailer, as you guys can see. This, like I'm just saying, like a night and day difference on how clean this looks compared to the previous. So hopefully now that they have the printer up and running, see if there's anything in here. Great Valentine's gifts, agreed. So let's move on to some more pictures from yesterday. So this one's from Francis. Thank you, Francis, for providing these beautiful pictures at what is going on in Middle River. The quality of these pictures is absolutely phenomenal. I really appreciate these guys going the extra mile, spending the time. And here we have some from Pat, also from Valentine's Day. Neutron Interstage that was brought outside yesterday is now vertical on the test stand outside of Rocket Lab Space Structures Complex. So fingers crossed. Then we have Chris Ray chiming in. Rocket Lab is now positioned to Interstage for Neutron as test stand at the Middle River facility. I love this picture. From Patrick at NSF. Look how tall these structures are, man. This is a gentleman on a boom. But just like looking at how little tape there is for this comparatively to the previous tank, I hope this continues to streamline. So I believe that was all the news for Neutron. What I have started to see over the past week or so is Rocket Lab continuing to push for the Mars Transport Orbiter. But before we get into this, let's just see if there's any pieces that anybody wanted to chat about in the comment section. Sally, thank you for becoming a member, much appreciated. Appreciate people here aren't really here for finance; they're just hoping at some point, shape, or form, I break into song. So much appreciated there. Apologies for the headphone listeners that their eardrums get blown out. Where do you think the Rocket Lab market cap will see when we see SpaceX IPO? That's tough, man. But I still believe that this is a $250 billion company. Not short term, but in the next couple years, until we know more about what's going on with Flatellite and what market they want to play into. That's where I'm going to hang out at the 250 billion. It could exceed that. It could shorten. I don't know. A lot of stuff in the merch store is available again. I'll have to check. I bought some stuff on the merch store, but it could be a good opportunity to load up on a little bit more, get some presents. Spotify is my preferred platinum to listen to you, Matt. I appreciate that. I've started to see we have like 50 people that are rather listening, not religiously, but since it's only been a couple days or a couple weeks since I started this project on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I've been pleasantly surprised by the response. So if anybody likes to listen via that, please take an opportunity to listen. And if you've ever gotten any valid from any of my podcasts, if you've ever gotten any valuable, ratings or anything if you ever got any valuable tidbits or anything like that, please feel free to leave a review. It'd be much appreciated. We're not going to talk about BMR in this particular stream. Sorry, let's keep it focused here. Always watch on YouTube. Can't miss that handsome mug. Well, on Spotify, you also get the video portion of it as well. Well, I'll be streaming the 26th. I hope to. I don't have anything scheduled that I know of right now on the 26th, but yeah, we'll have to play it by ear. I think there's possibility to reach profitability. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. You have to think a lot of the money that's being spent for Neutron is capital expenditure. So there's a possibility. We got Cam in the house. We got Brett in the house. Brett, you're the man, dude. Where can we get that ball cap? Reach out to Curtis on X. Maybe he's in the chat. I don't know, but reach out to him. Listen to me on OnlyFans. Well, that's interesting. Hopefully you're not paying for that because that's not me. Much to your dismay. So anyway, back to what the news is going on. Really, once again, appreciate the 150 of you guys being here across Twitch, across Matt Money YouTube channel. Really helpful to continue to inspire me to continue to keep doing these podcasts. So built on Rocket Lab's proven proven explorer spacecraft and backed by extensive Mars heritage, the MTO will support today's Martian missions while enabling the scientific discoveries and human exploration of tomorrow. So they're continuing to push this one. And they have some previous missions here of why they believe that they are successful. Rocket Lab technology has enabled some of the most ambitious Successful Mars missions, orbiters, rovers, landers, helicopter of Mars bear our fingerprints. Rocket Lab's Mars Transport Orbiter builds on this legacy. So they have the twin Escapade spacecraft, which was wholly built by Rocket Lab and launched by Blue Origin. I believe it was the NG2, New Glenn 2. The Mars Insight lander, Mars Perseverance rover, the Ingenuity Mars helicopter, which, if you think about this, really cool statistic here, was the first flight on another planet by humans. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution, and then Mars Science Laboratory. And then they continue to double down a couple days later. NASA's Mars objectives are clear: seek signs of ancient life, characterize the red planet's climate and geology, prepare for the future of human exploration on Mars. Rocket Lab's Mars Telecommunication Orbiter will enable this. Its invisible infrastructure makes NASA's entire Mars strategy possible. Why does Mars matter, and why do we need to talk to it? So in this particular one, I want to highlight 6 reasons the Mars telecommunication was matter to all of us. A little tidbit here from Rocket Lab. 1, without communications, Mars missions simply just don't work. 2, it protects billions of dollars already invested in Mars. 3, which they missed the bolding here, and multiplies the value of every Mars mission. Number 4, it enables future human missions to Mars. 5, it keeps America at the forefront of space leadership. And then 6, it commercializes space communications. The right mission needs the right builder. A Mars telecommunication orbiter isn't a technology demonstrator, it's critical infrastructure. Requires deep expertise in spacecraft design, deep space operations, communication systems, and mission integration. Rocket Lab delivers a rare combination of proven spacecraft, deep space mission experience, reliable launch vehicles, and end-to-end space systems capability as a vertically integrated mission provider. We, meaning Rocket Lab, delivered NASA's capstone mission to the moon, then followed it up with the Escapade twin spacecraft mission to Mars. These aren't concepts, these are real spacecraft operating in deep space. We designed and built one of the world's most reliable, frequently launched vehicles with over 80 plus missions completed and counting. Our hardware and software has enabled some of the most ambitious and successful Mars missions in history, including the Mars Insight lander, Perseverance rover, and Ingenuity helicopter. Mars is in our DNA. A Rocket Lab Mars telecommunication orbiter also brings a non-Artemis performer into the mix to contribute to a national space objective. Free from lunar commitments, Rocket Lab is laser focused on rapidly, affordably delivering the most reliable MTO to strengthen America's capability at Mars. Rocket Lab is Mars tested and MTO ready. Badass. Pretty badass. And I believe I'm like 85% certain that that is all the news over the past week. So if you guys have any thoughts, there's like one other thing I wanted to share. But I'm curious if there's anything else in here. Appreciate the 156 of you guys coming out. So Jerry Pike had this really cool launch. Let's start it from the beginning and blow it up. This really cool launch of the Falcon 9 launching the most recent folks to the ISS with Dragon either 12 or 13. I forget what it was. But awesome to see the continued momentum going into space exploration and the ISS. That's just a cool graphic overall. Cool graphic overall. And then we had the actual docking
Sarge. That was up to NASA astronaut Chris Williams, who is in the cupola as we speak, monitoring approach and docking, now nearing in on 16 meters away from the International Space Station. About 30 seconds prior to docking, we might hear the call out, or we will hear the call out for CHOP, which stands for Crew Hands Off Point. The crew on board International.
Again, little slow drift in here.
Space Station.
10.
Core of the distance between Dragon and the International Space Station.
Meters will stand by.
Pretty cool.
Copy 2.
Continuing to close in.
1 meter.
This is pretty cool.
Dragon SpaceX on the big loop. Dragon contact and soft capture complete.
Dragon copy. Soft capture complete.
And contact confirmed. Dragon.
Cool. So how awesome is that, man? I mean, that's pretty badass stuff. Pretty badass stuff to be able to see, and I think that this is awesome. I think SpaceX has done a phenomenal job of getting this up and running. But at the same time, if you're not going to have the Starliner, you really need a second person out there, and so hopefully we'll be able to see Rocket Lab eventually come forth with an opportunity to allow not just ISS but also Mars. We got Junebug in the house. G-Mazza, what's going on? Well, I appreciate everybody being here. Sorry that it wasn't more of a back and forth. I'm continuing to buy the stock. It's my largest holding. Think some people will probably try to dunk on me if the stock continues to go lower. That's fine. I'm not here for a short-term little bump here. I'm here for holding to 2035, and I believe this company's continue to do extremely great things. And we will see and hear more next week from us on Rocket Lab Weekly, on Rocket Lab Weekly 124. Appreciate everybody listening, whether you're listening on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Much appreciated for you guys. And for those of you guys that are hoping, we just have just under 2 weeks for the earnings. So it's what, I guess closer to 10 days, 11 days, I guess. So February 26th on Thursday. So we will have likely a predictions episode on the 21st or 22nd, depending on people's availability. And then we will go into the 26th. I hope to be streaming. And if there's any sort of launches or anything like that, I hope to be streaming that as well. But we have to know when times come. So I'm continuing to add as well. I think it's a great opportunity. Every time I get paid, I buy a little bit more. And if it drops below a certain amount, maybe I'll up the contributions. Right now, Amazon is my current one that I'm adding the most to. But at the end of the day, if Rocket Lab continues to buy more, drop more, I'll buy much more. So not running out and backing up the truck here at $60, $65, $70, but I do think it's a great opportunity to add when you have the cash. And if it does drop into the 50s or 40s again, like it did in the November timeframe, I'd be more than happy to add with some decent size. So much appreciated, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Appreciate that it was just me, but we will hopefully be back in full swing when everyone does well next week. So, and apologies for not answering everybody's questions about other stock tickers. This is Rocket Lab Weekly, and I do not want to dilute the message for folks that only come for Rocket Lab Weekly. So much appreciated, and I'll be back on later this evening. So if you guys aren't followers of the main channel, I'll be back on later this evening to discuss those stocks: Rocket Lab, Palantir, Dutch Brothers. I think somebody asked about my new entry into BM&R, things like that. So if you guys are interested, we'll talk more about that when I come on later with Steve. So thank you, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.